All right, more of the Ed Dean Radio Show. We will be broadcasting all the way to 9 o'clock tonight. Not the show version, but somewhat of it. We'll keep the partisan politics out. We'll be with you all the way to 7 to 9 tonight. Our good friends at SpaceCoastDaily.com, SpaceCoastDaily.com/elections. They've got the cameras up, and they're filming everything live. So if you want to watch us live on the air, just go to SpaceCoastDaily.com/election, SpaceCoastDaily.com/election, as we're broadcasting live out of our studios out of 1300 WMEL. Matt O'Hearn, political editor from SpaceCoastDaily.com, also here. Tomorrow I'll be on Newsmax TV again down in West Palm. DirecTV is, what is it, 220, let me see what they give me here. 223, and no, DirecTV, excuse me, 349. And Dish TV, 223, for all you ladies out there. So anyways, I'll be live there tomorrow with Ed Berliner talking about the election results throughout the state, also throughout the rest of the country at around 12 at the 12 o'clock hour. So we'll be set and ready to go. Again, watch us live on the air at SpaceCoastDaily.com/election, SpaceCoastDaily.com/election. Vince Young pulled out something that I totally forgot. Excuse me, he's absolutely true. I'm not trying to pick a fight with the supervisor of elections, but we are overblowing these absentees. The old days, you had to request every year for an absentee ballot. Vince, tell the audience how bad it's gotten.
Well, now if you request an absentee ballot for one election, they'll send you that absentee ballot, but then they will continue to send you absentee ballots for the next several election cycles.
Whether you requested it or not.
them or not. They
That
keep
is-
sending
yes.
them to you.
So it means even if you didn't vote,
Yeah, even if you
which a
don't
lot
vote.
of them are out there. Lori's, again, I'm not trying to pick a fight here. 80,000 absentee requests she mailed out in the month of July. As of now, we barely have 80,000 voters. In the absentees alone, the numbers only show 35,000. This is a bad, bad rate of return.
How
Horrible.
much money are they spending on postage, sending all those out?
Hey, Vince, that's a great question. First class?
Yeah.
So last I heard from one of our sources, it costs about $1.50 each for each ballot to be sent out, and that's not worker cost, just postage and printed. Postage
Boy,
and printing and
she needs to go to my printer. I don't have a printer, just, But no, wait a second. I mean, just do the math off the top of your head. Only 30. That's you're still looking at less than 50%. Right now, you're looking about 45, maybe. I don't know the numbers there, but let's say it's 45%. Just say 45. Okay, 35,000 voters times $1.50.
That's a chunk of change.
Do the math, Vince, because I'm too lazy to do it right now.
And I was a journalism major, so
Yeah, I'm in the financial world, but I don't do math. What is it?
Fortunately, I'm an accountant. That comes to $53,248.50.
Wait, no, wait.
That's
35 times $1.50.
35
Yeah.
times $1.50. That's
That makes sense.
$53,248.50.
But that's not as high as I thought it was going to be.
That's still a lot of money, though.
Let me see, 53,000. Hold on, wait. That's one.
See, you're going to get people if they
okay.
if they try to reduce
I
that.
thought it was more.
Yeah.
The problem is if you try to cut back on that, they're going to say what's 53,000. What's
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
53,000?
they're going to say.
I mean, come on, really.
They're going to say is quote
You're
disenfranchisement
disenfranchising
worth
voters to say
53,000.
53.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
mean, they
that's-
can already see the ad.
Yeah, so here's
That's
the
also
problem.
just in Brevard County, though.
That's
What about
right.
the rest of the state of Florida?
Yeah. So, I mean, I got to be careful because it's only 53,000. I mean, come on, Vince,
Hey, you break a budget $53,000 at a time.
53,000 over 4 years. That's 100-something thousand over. Let me see. Well,
Yeah.
by the way, hold on. She also has to do that in the general election, too.
That's true.
And
That's
how many
true.
voters vote in the absentee in the general election here, Matt?
Way more in the general election.
Well, no, I don't think there is that way much more. Absentees, I'm talking. I don't think
Oh,
there's-
absentee. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I'm
So
sorry.
you could be looking at $100,000+ every year or every 2 years, excuse me.
I think it's worth at least looking at.
Well, we've
Maybe-
been looking at it for quite a while.
Yeah.
But my point is that you can still save a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to these predictions. Everybody keeps asking me. I went over them last night. These are not endorsements. These are predictions. One more time. These are not flippin' endorsements. These are predictions. All right? Let's go, Matt O'Hearn. Let's go with State Senate District 16. Republican incumbent Thad Altman versus Monique Millard. Thad Altman wins. What do you say?
I agree, but I think it's much closer than originally anticipated.
What's so much closer?
I think he win. I think Miller gets 40%.
Okay, I think it's 60-40.
Yeah.
Let's skip Tom Goodson. It's no.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to say 35 for Miller.
Wow, man, you're being very good to Thad. State House Republican.
I hope. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. District 53. John Tobias versus Tim Street. Tim might pull this off, maybe. What do you think?
Oh, I think Street will pull off that upset.
If Tobias wins, it won't be by much.
You know, one thing to keep in mind with this low turnout, and one reason I think Miller may actually be higher, and I don't know if you saw her straw poll, she was in a dead tie with Thad Altman just as recent, and that was 2 days ago. And I can tell you, I went through that. You know, a lot of online polls were famous for people like Ron Paul fans going on and spamming him. I went in and inspected and ensured we only had a max of 2 votes per household.
We'll match them up here in a little bit.
Well, just hear me out. So that straw poll was actually more accurate than a lot of those ones you actually go to where you buy like 20 tickets. And
even if John Tobias wins, he'll never be able to run again in Brevard County successfully.
Well, I was talking about Miller versus Altman. I was just going to say
Miller's
in that poll that it was very close.
School board races, I haven't been following. They just haven't attracted many candidates out there. Port Authority, I think Frank Sullivan might pull it off against Wayne Justice. I don't know.
I think actually Justice pulls off the upset because of the type of crowd we've got.
If it's a lower crowd, it could be. The mail-ins going out. I think it's going to be close on that one as well. Let's talk about District 2 County Commission. I think Michael Hartman wins that one.
Oh man, I think he wins by 3.
Hartman?
I think Hartman wins by 3%. The reason I just think that is I think he's just had so many more feet on the ground.
Yeah, I agree. He's got more feet. District 4, this is what I told everybody last night, that you've got Frank Zolitis, who's creepy. You got Rick Lacey, who's sleepy. You've got Dave Armstrong, who's credible. Rick Charbonneau is not.
You're making it
Greg
like
Jones,
the 7 dwarfs.
man, Smink is not going to win in November. I don't know what you're smoking, dude.
I didn't say that.
No, our buddies are online. I'm getting all these Facebook messages. Also, Kurt Smith. I think Armstrong and Smith could split up the conservative vote with the rest of those guys, and Greg Jones might actually win this race.
No, I think Smith pulls it off.
I think Smith could win. I think Armstrong's going to do well as well. I don't know.
I want to go back to something that you just mentioned with Smink.
It stink.
No, listen. You have to look at the numbers of this. Okay, he's going to be an independent. He's going to get the majority of the Democrat votes. I would say he'll get 70 to 80% of Democrats because they're going to have either Republican or Independent.
Right.
Then he's going to get the bulk of Independents.
Independents aren't coming out.
He's going to get some Republicans. Oh, Independents will come out this midterm.
You think so? They didn't come out last year.
They'll come out.
They have not a track record.
No matter what, there's going to be a percentage that comes out. The majority are going to break with Smink, and then
you're saying that they're going to vote party line.
He's pulling from 3 bases though, whereas Hartman's basically just pulling from the Republicans. I'm not saying Smink's going to win, but I think it's going to be much closer than a lot of people think.
But when you send a mailer to Democrats by saying Jack Smink left the Republican because an MPA, and the question mark goes, why didn't he become a Democrat? Some Democrats will.
I don't think they care. I think they're having.
I think they will.
They don't right now. They're in such bad shape. They need anything, especially in Florida.
If 35% are hardcore of the Democrats vote strict party line.
Well, but there's no Democrat choice, and they're sure as heck not going to vote for the hard.
Well, that's my whole point. Then why would they vote for an MPA who just left the Republican Party?
To spite a Republican, I'm sure you. Oh, come on, you know people who vote against a Democrat if it's an independent.
You got to give people a reason to come out and vote against this or for this guy.
Yeah, but the Democrats will be there to vote for Charlie Crist, and they're going to say, "Well, I'm mad at."
Hey, there are a lot of Democrats that will vote for, and a lot of people that vote for medical marijuana that will skip the race of Rick Scott. You will see. Listen, in tonight's election,
you'll see some skip.
In tonight's election, you will see undervotes.
Yes, I agree.
Why did that guy? Why is there 10,000 votes undervotes?
I'm not saying Smink's going to win. I just think you have to.
I'm not saying you are. I just don't think they're all going to come out and vote for Smink like you think.
I think Smink will get maybe 35, maybe even 40.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah. So my point with that being, whether it's Barfield or Hartman, they can't just think it's going to be a coast to a victory. That's dangerous thinking because Smink could sneak up. The Smink sneak.
All right. District 4, we said you think it's going to be Kurt Smith. It could be Kurt Smith.
It'll be Kurt.
The judges. Let me give you the rundown here. I think Sam Polk could take 50%. Not Sam Polk, George Polk. Doesn't matter. He's going to win.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a runoff between Kraus and Stacy. Moser should win by 50%. If not, you might see Nancy Maloney's actually. As interesting as she is, you think that she might make it in the general. I think it could be between Moser and Arcadia. I think Baker barely beats Minerva. I think that could be an upset, maybe. I think Garagazola beats Oscar easily. But the race that everybody keeps asking about is Daratani Goldfarb versus Robin Lemonatis. And let me break this down for you. This should have gotten much nastier than what I thought. Okay, let me know when she calls in. You gave her the number? Okay. Vince, I think Monique Miller's going to call in, so be ready for that one, brother. I think that the race could have gotten much nastier. It was nasty as it is. The strength of the Goldfarb people is they play the party labels and the party lines, she wins. Okay, if she plays that. Because if you want to go party discussion, is Robin Lemonatis a liberal? Not yeah, but heck yeah. But if you played the experience card, I think Lemonatis wins. The question is word is getting around among the party elite that Robin Lemonatis was a big Obama fan. Not that Goldfarb has all the experience. If you put the experience against each other, I think Lemonatis wins. But if it does go down to that party label, which they're trying to make, and I understand why Goldfarb would want to make it a party issue, who's more conservative, I think she wins.
Yeah, that's a tough one because you also have to ask yourself, is this the year where experience is an asset or a liability? You know, there are some years where no matter what race you're talking about, people just want someone who's a newcomer, so to speak, in any respect. So that could be a factor as well.
Yeah, and you'll see, and I'm just, the question is that, for example, there are some races where we all would agree that should be nonpartisan.
Right.
I think the judicial races, for example, in Texas, they are partisan. In Florida, they are nonpartisan. I like to keep them that way. I don't mind seeing a school board race partisan. I don't mind even seeing a city election partisan here, because that means you still have to identify with the voters. As I said before, I find it very attractive when a Democrat can win in Republican circles and vice versa, because I want to know how these people are doing it that way. But there are people that still play the party line. And listen, if you ever notice, Matt, that when it comes to judicial activism, it's mostly from those on the left that promote judicial activism.
Right.
Now, but here's the thing.
Look at what Rick Perry's going through right
That's
now.
right. But look at. I mean, let's say Robin Lemonatis is a big liberal, and she is. But her experience would show she works as a state prosecutor, she has more experience than Goldfarb, she's older, so that also gives her more experience, then Robin Lemonatis would win on that. But if we wanted to throw out the issue of political activism and judicial activism, I think the Republicans can make a viable argument in this race if you played the party label that Lemonatis should not be elected. But here's the question. It's a circuit court judge race, whether it's on bankruptcy or family law. How much judicial activism can you get on that level?
Yeah, you can't really get too. It's not like a state Supreme Court spot or anything like that. I really think it's going to just come down to people do their research either online or on a mailer, or they know somebody.
All right. So what do you see in the judges?
Let me pull this up here.
Hurry up, man.
I think Polk wins. I think Lemonatis wins. I think
You'll see runoffs in some of these races.
Right. I don't think Polk will need to run off. I do think Lemonatis will. I think Stacey and Krause will be I think Stacey and Krause will advance and leave Garner behind. I think Moser wins outright.
He could.
I think.
But this is also based on mailings. I didn't see a lot of mailings by Moser. I did see him by Maurice.
Yeah, and I don't think Baker's going to get to 50. I don't think
Baker's going to get to 50.
I said I don't think Baker will get 50.
She has to. Oh, that means Minerva wins. There's no runoff. It's only a two-person race.
Oh wait, hang on. There's no third in there. Yeah, you're right. No, I was thinking of a different one. And then you got Hodesing, and I think
Oscar's not beating.
I don't even know how to begin to pronounce that last name.
The judge is going to.
I've got the.
How well do you think the endorsements have played in all these elections this year?
I think the biggest endorsement, and you may laugh at this, but Sheriff Ivey is one of the most well-respected and well-known figures in the area because he does such a good job projecting himself.
He does a good job PRing himself. Yeah.
And I would almost never say that a local guy's endorsement would be worth more than 2 or 3%. I think that may have given Barfield anywhere from 5 to 7%.
Why didn't he endorse in the District 4 race?
I don't know. I wish I had the
Some
answer.
races he didn't. Why is, by the way, the Democrats have been showing up predominantly that anything that's going to make the lack of participation in these school board races because people care about education. And to be honest with you, the majority of races may be decided by tonight when it comes to the school board.
Sorry, what was that?
The majority of races may be decided tonight by the school board.
Yeah, I think they will.
All right. Take a quick break. Don't forget, 7 to 9, we're going to give you a lot of more in-depth political coverage here that you have not heard on the Ed Dean Radio Show. Matt Ahern from SpaceCoastDaily.com is also here. Kevin Derby from SunshineStateNews.com will also join us. Again, watch us live on the air between 7 and 9 tonight. Election coverage on WMEL. SpaceCoastDaily.com/election. SpaceCoastDaily.com/election. Back in a few moments.
AM 1300 WMEL.
Hi, this is Jim Bohannon. Join me for the next Bohannon Show. Brian Berghardt will be with us to look at the Project Fatal Encounters, how many Americans die in police officer-involved shootings. Plus, Luke Rosiak from the Washington Examiner on members of Congress who cheat us. Back in a moment. There you go. We'll see you right here.
It's Jim Bohannon, weeknights 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. on AM 1300 WMEL and worldwide at 1300WMEL.com.
I'm Mitch Krause, your candidate for Circuit Court Judge. When it comes to electing a Circuit Court Judge, you need to know who has the most experience and also the right experience. On the federal level, I clerked for a Ronald Reagan appointed federal judge. On the local level, I was a former assistant state attorney for the 18th Judicial Circuit. When it comes to your family, you don't want someone who needs on-the-job training. As your next Circuit Court Judge, I'll protect your family as if it were mine.
Political advertisement paid for and approved by Mitch Krause, nonpartisan for Circuit Judge, 18th Judicial Circuit Group, 19.
At Cantwell & Goldman, PA, they provide quality solutions for businesses, entrepreneurs, and individuals. With 30 years of experience, depend on partner Mitch Goldman for insightful advice and vigorous representation. Visit their offices at 96 Willard Street, Suite 302 in Cocoa, or call 639-1320. 639-1320, Cantwell & Goldman, PA. There is awesome private sector job growth happening here in Brevard at Port Canaveral. Thank you, Port Commissioner Frank Sullivan, for leading the way with decades of business experience. Frank Sullivan gave his word 4 years ago that he would oppose tax levies, and he kept that promise. Job growth and a promise kept to fight tax levies. Frank Sullivan has earned our vote of confidence. For more, go to electfranksullivan.com.
Political ad paid for and approved. Frank Sullivan, Republican, Port Authority, District 3.
Your home for Tampa Bay Rays baseball is AM 1300 WMEL.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. The Rays win.
The Rays continue their AL East road trip as they take on Chris Davis and the first-place Baltimore Orioles. Andy Freed and Dave Wills will have the coverage live from Camden Yards on Wednesday and Thursday, starting with the first pitch at 7. On your home for the Rays, AM 1300 WMEL.
Hello, Space and Treasure Coasts. This is Doug Steffen, host of the Good Day program here on AM 1300 WMEL. Our team here at Good Day helps you start every day in a good way. That includes top news of the day, interviews with newsmakers, humor, offbeat stories, and of course, your calls to engage and provoke, entertain and inform. Make it a point to start your day with me, Doug Steffen, on the Good Day program, 5 to 9 a.m., Monday through Saturday, here on AM 1300 WMEL, the Talk to Me station.
WMEL.
Can we just let the music play? We can. It's instrumental, so we'll just talk over the song.
Yeah, sure.
I think some of the politicians have been locked out of politics. It is. You can knock down the song. Vince Young, I'm just joking. Matt Ahern here on the Ed Dean Radio Show. I'm the man himself. Ed Dean Election Coverage Central starts at 7 o'clock, which is going to be totally different from the 7 to 9, which is normally different than the 5 to 7, 2 hours of the Ed Dean Radio Show. Totally unbiased. We will give you coverage, in-depth analysis that you've not heard anywhere else, not even on this radio show. And it'll be totally unbiased, as it should be. As we broadcast live out of the studios of 1300, WMEL.com. And our friends, our partners at SpaceCoastDaily.com, SpaceCoastDaily.com, facebook.com/election if you want to watch us live on the air, as a lot of people do. You can forget Central Florida News 13. You can forget all my good buddies at Fox News. You can forget all the other. You'll find it here, all the election results. By the way, I got to call Mike Simon from Fox News, see if he's going to join us here in just a little bit as well. So, with a couple minutes left here, Matt O'Hearn, political editor, the results, are you sad? Not sad. Are you not surprised by the low turnout?
It's actually right about where not to try to sound like a know-it-all, but it's right about where I thought it would be.
All right, I'm going to check some Mike Simon here from Fox News. I want to get him on. Kevin Derby's also going to join us here in just a little bit here. What races should people on the results be looking at in some of these close elections? What areas?
I'm sorry, what was it? What areas?
My gosh, dude, can you understand a word that can you get off the phone and follow me here, man? My question is, I got to put subtitles underneath talking to Matt here, man. What am I, Honey Boo Boo? The question I'm getting at is what elections should people be focused on or looking at for certain results?
I think Hartman versus Barfield, Miller versus Altman, and the District 4 race, which is totally up for grabs.
Which one? Or what surprising races are we going to be looking at? What do you think?
Well, as far as outcome, I think Goodson will win, but I have a feeling that George Collins guy from over in Orange County may get a lot more votes than anyone expected.
All right. Vince, any results on your end? I want to see the Charlie Crist numbers, Vince. That's what I want to see.
Well, yeah, statewide, yeah, that's one.
Charlie Crist versus Nan Rich. I hope Nan Rich comes within 10 points, man.
I hope
that
so,
would
too.
make my night.
That would.
All right. Monique Miller, who was running against the incumbent Thad Altman in the Republican side of Senate District 16. Monique, good to have you on. I've been told that the activity is picking up. Low voter turnout today, as we've seen. What does that do for your campaign?
Well, I guess only time will tell, but I got to say we were really impressed with the voter turnout, especially down in Indian River County. We're really, I was about the only thing on the ticket besides a couple school board races, and so we were really impressed with the number of people that turned out just to come vote for the Senate race.
You've seen the barrage of mailers against you, and I've said before, I was very impressed. I mean, for somebody who jumped in this race late, like you did, for the backup that you received from gun groups, pro-gun groups, and other activists out there. If you look back, I know that the clock's winding down here in a few moments, but if you look back at the election, do you think, because there'll be a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking, that if we would have jumped in September instead of April, do you think those questions will come up and sit back and say, we might, if we don't win tonight, we might have had a better shot back then?
I kind of don't think so. I think one of the biggest advantages that we had is that, frankly, I think there was a lot of complacency on the other side, and there wasn't a big organization in place, and we really had the opportunity to take advantage of that. And time only helps the incumbent because you're not going to make that much difference in name recognition in 6 months versus 4.
Yeah, I think she caught some people sleeping in complacency. I totally agree with you. Well, good luck tonight, and we'll be following all the election results. Monique Miller, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thad has just been bombarding people. He's got some good ads, don't get me wrong.
Thad the Impaler?
Well, I don't know why they keep calling him that. But anyways, Thad, listen, 3 or 4 ads would have been enough for me, but not 8 to 12.
Right.
But Monique's come out with some. I just don't see.
Well, go ahead.
I'm just thinking if Monique would have done this campaign 5-6 months earlier, I think it'd be a totally different. I think it could be much closer tonight.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the Altman campaign is glad that they...
Listen, we got to get going. Matt O'Hearn, didn't mean to interrupt you. Matt
That's
O'Hearn,
right.
7 to 9. This is not an extension of the Ed Dean Radio Show. We got election coverage analysis, spacecoastdaily.com/election, live on the air, right here on WMEL, just starting on the top of the news, right around 7 o'clock. This is the Ed Dean Radio Show.
AM 1300 WMEL.
WMEL weather for this